Hey there! Welcome back to the Paragon series. I am Muggsey, and we are on the Tuckmeister, just gathering up berries after black berries. That's right. We are now directly on the quest following our last episode where we finished off with gathering a whole bunch of meat that we're going to spoil up. We are going to finally do our speed level. Now this process is going to end us up getting anywhere from 25 to 35 levels, so we are going to end up in the 60s, guys, and it's going to happen very quickly, and we're going to show you how to do that with haste. So I am going to finish getting up close to 5,000 to 6,000 narco berries to start, and then we will get on to the rest of the process, and anywho, we'll see you back when that's done. See you in a minute, guys. Alright, we are back at base and spoiling up the meat. To do that, you want to get a stack of meat that's about spoiled, and then split all in the inventory. Then pressing T to transfer other stacks of meat, each stack that you then transfer into all of the formerly split will assume the low spoil timer. You split all to all those stacks, and now you all of a sudden have an inventory full of individual pieces of meats about to spoil. So in this way, as you can see from Iggy's inventory there, you can come up with thousands of spoiled meat in a very short amount of time, so long as you have an initial stack that has a low timer. This is, what we're about to do is a narcotics-based speed level. Now this works very well early game while narcotics still provide significant amounts of XP towards a level. Later game, once you get into like the 80s or so, the more efficient way to level tends to be hitting a box and then going and killing a high level alpha creature. But for now, this is, to me, the most successful and easy way to really shoot up levels. Now, why do we want to shoot up in levels? At this point, we are at the cusp of stone tier building. But all industrial age type equipment like the industrial grill, fabricator and stuff is still in the 40s, so still like 10 levels away. We also don't have access to our first flyer in the Pteranodon yet because we don't have the saddle. There's a lot that we want to get to that will help us progress through the next really several days of gameplay, and I'm talking about real-time days of gameplay where we are starting to navigate the gathering dinos, getting those tamed up, getting the actual base really built. There's a lot of stuff, getting ready to tame an Argent, getting our first bits of kibble done, all of that. But anyway, I'm jabbering on. What you do now is you get a line of mortise and pestles like we have here, and you just pop about 200 in each, and it's looking like I'm going to need more mortise and pestles, which is great. But you want to do 200 because boxes, while on the island, the explorer note boxes and such, they're very plentiful, but they are not infinite. So whenever we do something like this, we want to use as few as possible to achieve our goal. This time around, we're going to probably hit 3 boxes, and I'll explain why 3, because it's actually more XP boost than we're actually going to need. But we'll get to the boxes in a second. For now, let's lay out a couple more mortise and pestles and put the rest of our spoiled meat into those. And Iggy, you're in the way. And then put the narcoberries we do have gathered into the mortise and pestles. Now understand that mortise and pestles do not have any kind of, it's just like your inventory, so everything's going to be spoiling at a pace. As you can see, we got quite a few narcoberries, but it's not nearly enough, but it's plenty enough to make me overburdened, so take those back. But I can tell you right now, I don't have all of the narcoberries that I'm needing, and you probably don't if you have this much. So I'm going to go and get the rest of the narcoberries gathered up. dump them in the boxes, 1,000 per 200, or 500 narco berries per 100 stack of spoiled meat. That's the math. So we've got about 1,200, 1,300 spoiled meat. There you go. Anyway, I'm going to go get those berries and we will have it all back and we will do the most crucial part of this, which is to hit craft and go get our boxes. We'll be right back, guys. So we have everything we need in our mortise and pestles. And the last thing is we want to uncheck folder view. This will show us all available engrams for the mortise and pestle crafting station, here showing us our narcotics. And we will, while hovering over that available engram, press A, craft all, and we're going to press it twice to get both stacks crafted up. This will have all of these narcotics in each mortise and pestle going at once. So if you remember, we took a look at our XP. Watch this. Even without an XP buff from the boxes, look at how quickly this is going up. So at this level, narcotics are amazingly good. Now, I'm not going to pump any levels. We want to see how many we get from our start point to this finish. But we are running now, which is why we topped up our water, because we have a bunch of sprinting to do right now. At this point, if you remember, we pointed out the woolly rhino dossier that's right over here in an earlier episode, and that is what we're after, and I am not in the right place. I know it's up the hill from me. That direction is to the other one. So it is... Okay, there it is. Yeah. So our narcotics are ticking. Great XP there. We're about to make it even greater. Woolly Rhino Dossier. Step over it, and boom. You see the buff just appeared in the bottom. We not only got an initial burst of XP, as you can see, that box instantly took us up. Now look at how fast that XP is just ticking. So we've got, 600 seconds. So I am going to... Okay, this is not available yet. But we're going to come back for that, because you know what? Leave no beacon drop behind. Anyway, now, I want at least 2 boxes. I'm going to get all 3 that are right here. So there is the woolly rhino, and then over here I believe is a Rockwell note or a Helena note. I can't remember. Fun fact, I've not actually found all the notes on the island. You just never really need to hit max level, and then you kind of stop looking. In this series, we're going to get them all. But, so here it is. You see that tree, and this is the archway. Look for that, and there it is, Rockwell record. We're going to hit that, and now we have 1,200 seconds of XP boost. Finally, we're going to come over to the quarry, and we've passed this before, I believe, too. Or, I don't know, maybe I'd cut that out of footage, me coming over here to get beacons. There's a beacon drop that happens right here on this point. But this is the quarry area, and there's a giant, terrain arch here. As you can see, that's the location right there. And as we progress, we're gonna come through the terrain arch. This is actually a really neat place to build a base, but because it is the local quarry where all the rock is, I don't build here just because I want to save the resources. But here we are, Helena note number 7. And we now have 1,700 seconds of XP boost. Now that is more XP boost than we need, but look at what just popping the boxes just did for us. I've always noticed this, that once you get your first box, notice we got the first box and we only had 2 levels. If you hit another box right after that, the XP boost is compounded with the double XP from the previous box. So we've already, in just a matter of a minute or so, jumped up 12 levels, guys. This is what we're talking about, a speed leveling phase. At this point, we're free to just wait it out until the end of the crafting process, which is only going to take about 500 seconds. So I told you we're getting more boxes than we need, but I wanted that initial boost because I'm really trying to get us up to where we've got some useful engrams and we can really progress from this point. That said, I'm not going to be progressing too fast. I want to keep us fairly primitive over here. There are things that I want to do. Like I don't want to go straight for air conditioners and whatnot. I want to actually use the dino versions of that. That's another thing that happens so often. We overlook Dimetrodons and such, which are basically natural air conditioners, because we can just bull rush to the engram for air conditioner. We never need the natural version. Well, you know what? In the Paragon series, I want to do some things that you don't typically see done. So we're going to have kind of a primitive style here. Anyway, we're back at base. We're watching it tick, and we're steady gathering XP. And as you can see, we have a lot left to gather. 12 levels in, and we still got a lot to go. So we will see you back at the end of that process and see how we made out. And we are about to craft the last narcotic. 30 levels, guys. 30 levels in, let's see, 1700 in 14 minutes. Now, I'd say that's a win if your goal was to level really fast, which was our goal. So, anywho, what to do with them? Stats. Let's, we've maxed our stam for what I want. Let's get movement speed up to 115. 112 is enough. 115, you can outrun pretty much anything. Fortitude to 20, so that we don't get instantly knocked out by things like Trudons and Titanoboas. Let's take weight on up to 400. And then let's pump the rest into health so that we can actually take a little bit of a hit. We actually just turned into a legit survivor in 14 minutes. It almost feels like cheating, but we used just the in-game mechanics, right? So now we have a lot of engram points, but there is only one engram that I am after right now because we have been waiting for this. Pteranodon saddle. That's right, guys. We are ready to take to the skies. So I am going to get this crafted up, and then we are going to bring you back when we are ready to shoot away into the wild blue yonder. We'll see you back in a minute. And it's been a minute, and go! The first thing you notice is they're super fast, and that I am missing my shirt. Yes. One of the green drops gave me a hide armor set, and it has been time. It's been way past time for me to get into costume. That is right. Muggsey plays shirtless. So, now you see me, as I truly am. So look at the stamina here. Pteranodons do not start with very good stamina. I don't care what level you tame them out at. So we do have to do a box run to get her some initial levels so that we can get the stamina pumped up to somewhere between 600 and 800. Just so that we don't have to stop too often to regain our stamina. We can do some lengthy runs. And that's going to be important when we use our Pteranodon for taming the Argent. We may have to kite an Argent across the map, which is often the case. So, speaking of regaining stamina, as we're doing this, I need to sit down. There's two places I tend to do box runs. Now, you can do box runs over on this little area. Like, this is the area where we came with the Mo shops to go to the swamp. And there are two Carnos here. Okay, quick story time. When I first started Ark, I actually started playing mobile. And not knowing what I was doing, my little, like a level 12 self thought, hey, I'm going to tame the big lizard. Don't think too hard about that. I went out and tamed like a level 5 Carno with raw meat on the mobile version and named it Booger. So ever since then, every playthrough, I get some kind of a Carno and it has to be named Booger. And even though they're a little outdated, I have to get a Booger. So we will get a Booger. Anyway, across the way there is what I call Fike Island, but everyone else calls it Crags Island if you look at an actual map of the island map. That's Crags Island. And it has, as you see the little ruins up there on the peak, this island actually has quite a few closely condensed explorer notes dossiers, and it's about the perfect amount to do the pre-leveling of a freshly tamed Pteranodon. So, being the 100% focused professional content creator that I am, I'm going to abandon the thing that I was just telling you about, and I'm going to come over here and get this green beacon. Because why? No beacon left behind, guys. You never know what you're going to get. You can get something awesome, like a wooden ladder, you know? Totally worth completely just screwing up the whole flow of the video. And here we come on, Pteranodon. It's a level 20 Dillo. You can do it. You're supposed to be protecting me, Mach 1. Thank you. Finally. You know what? Since we came all this way to go out of our way, let's show these people something, all right? Look at what you can do. That's right. The Pteranodon can pick up smaller creatures. We'll be using this sometime in the near future to actually tame a bunch of these devil sores. But for now, we're going to use that handy skill to turn it into shark bait. Alright, back to what we're talking about. The boxes on Crags Island. Ooh, Spino. We're not going to do anything with that. The first box is, well, these first two boxes are actually quite difficult to find. Fly into this little forest, which is not always, so be careful, but usually is fairly peaceful. And set down, and you'll be right at about the right level on the Pteranodon to see just under the tree canopy. And what we're looking for the first one at this location is what will look like a Roman or Greek vessel, because this is one of the notes from the Roman lore figure, something like Maximus Flavius Flatulus. I don't, it sounds super Roman, right? And just looks like a vase, you know? And there it is. See, look, knew exactly what I was talking about because I'm pro. But yeah, that's it. This is his note style, and they will always look like that. Anyway, that explorer, look, gave us 2 levels as it did before. Now, like we discussed earlier, the next vessel will give a significant boost to our Pteranodon. Not so much to us, because we've already gone through our initial level boost earlier. But now what we're looking for is right over from that one, and here it is, right here. Boom. Rockwell record. So those are the 2 hard ones to find. And now you see that second boost on the Pteranodon took her up 15 levels. So the next box that I think we'll do is to go up the hill. We'll get the one that's in the ruins that we were just looking at. And then the next from there is directly over this hill and down. So just follow along, guys. I'm just trying to show you how to navigate this kind of efficiently, but I'm having a thing. Rockwell record number 2, right there. Now if you just come up and over the hill, we should be staring directly at the other note any second. Now there it is, right there. Just right up over the hill, and boom. We get the Lead Citrus dossier, or Lead Sithis dossier. Now we're getting some XP. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 more boxes left, and the next box is right over here by this green beacon. Which, say it with me, no beacon left behind. We're going to definitely check this green beacon, so long as there's nothing evil trying to munch our face. So be very careful when you set down here, guys, because Craig's Island is a great place for tames, which means a lot of aggressive stuff can be here. So when you're out in this open plain right here, be careful. Got a nice little pair of primitive boots there. So there you go. That is the Rockwell record number 20. The next, oh, actually, we've got a run of herbivores here. The next box is right up here. Boom, we got it. And that is the Raptor dossier. Finally, we have two more boxes left, so we're going to go over here and check this blue beacon, and then we will get the last two dossiers, and hopefully that'll be enough to get our Pteranodon. Obviously worth. Everybody needs glass jars. In fact, we do. If we want to make beer, we definitely want the glass jar. We'll go over that in the future. But there is this box right here. And to show you that, I'm probably going to have to hop off. So that is the Quetzal dossier. And then finally is a note from She Who Waits. And that is a funky looking. Alright. Sorry, I get distracted, guys. And hopefully you do too, because if you do... Oh, Mesopithecus. We need one of those to honor our... one of our mentors in playing the game, one of the guys that taught me how to play the game and watching his stuff, Flinger Foo. He always gets a foo, which is what he names these monkeys. Ooh. That one would be perfect. Okay, we're going to be coming back to get that, guys. Let's check the tech parasaur. Since we have already tamed Vector Blue, I will not be taming any normal parasaurs. At this point, if I tame any other parasaurs, it will also be tech parasaurs. But anyway, the final note is this fancy looking thing from The One Who Waits, or if you know the lore, that it's basically Helena in the future, She Who Waits. These are actually really cool when you first get them. It kind of puts a heads-up display over the screen. It's very future techie type thing. But anyway, so now that we've completed the run of Craig's Island, let's take a look here at the dossiers and the notes tab. Go to inventory, press the book there on the end right by the little three-claw foot, and you get to the notes tab. And this will show you all of the notes that you have previously gotten, and they will be kind of blacked out and you can't click them. And then notes that you have gotten in the current playthrough will be highlighted and readable. As you can see, I've found plenty of notes. I have not found hardly all of them. So we've got a lot of note finding to do in this playthrough. But that concludes our note run. There's one final thing while I'm here and thinking about it, and I will probably bring this up several times because I'll probably forget that I've showed you this. But this, to my knowledge, is the most accessible oil node on the island for someone who does not have like a donkey or an argent able to get to the snow biome with a Anki. This one is just right off the beach here on Paragon Island. So we are going to need to start amassing oil because we need to make jerky, and we are going to need to fabricate, and in fact make a fabricator. We just need oil. So once you get the Pteranodon, or if you've started on Craig's Island, be making regular trips over to that node, which should be respawning, you know, according to whatever you have your settings. We have our setting on, you know, we have not sped up resource respawn, so it's usually about a day or two in game before that node will respawn, and you definitely have to get out of render range, and we'll talk about resource respawn in a future video. But anywho, we got ourselves a level. And look at that, 33 levels. And guess where they're all going? Now I'm going to get her up to about, I could go all the way to 800. But that should be okay. Little bit of weight and the rest into that. We're going to need to get her a little bit more weight because we're going to be using her to transport a wooden tree platform in the future. But she's pretty much good now. She can do all we can do. Ooh, that's a pretty one. 66 male though. I don't know. We might come back for that at some point. It's not a priority tame at this point in our playthrough. We're pretty much beyond early game tames and into the need for gathering dinos. But in the immediate future, we are going to be taming us a Mesopithecus. So I will bring you right back once I've gone to get some megaberries, and we are in position, ready to go through that process, which is a little bit of a pain. We'll be right back, guys. All right, we're back, and we have our megaberries in our last slot. Oh, did you hear her? They're kind of sneaky and tiny. There she is. Okay, so what you want to do is crouch down and very quietly walk up behind them, and you want to stick a berry up their butt. Don't worry, they like it like that. Okay, so the problem is their feed box is a little bit wonky, so it's very easy exactly to startle them. They aren't bothered until you get too close, and then and she ran right by the Pteranodon and got startled again. So this, interesting enough, them getting startled doesn't affect their percent towards tame, but they want to eat so often that they start to lose percent towards tame from not being fed in the process of them calming down. But anyway, when they run off, you just hold back a little bit and they'll run off and ultimately calm down and should be right ready to feed again. They also drop human feces very often in this process, and you'll be picking a lot of that up on accident. But I just see it's kind of weird. There it is, Megaberry, and you see she didn't lose too much taming effect or percent towards tame, but she did lose some just from the amount of time it took us to get back to her in a calm state. So this is the whole process. You just follow her around like this, and when she's ready, you pop a berry in her. And it pretty quick process, even though you don't get a lot of percent towards tame per feed. They want to feed so much, it's just like boom, 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 boom. And before you know it, they're tamed. And before you know it, they'll be your best good buddy. So, yeah, it really doesn't take that long, guys. And she has a blue face, but this is a tame dedicated to someone that taught me a lot about playing the game. So, Fubu Blue is what it shall be. Anywho, without any further ado about that, guys, we are going to get her on our shoulder. And look at her. Isn't she cute? Look at that. Give her a couple berries to munch on for a second. And there she is. Oh, now shoulder. I'm going to get her back to base, guys, and we will show you what she can do. Be right back. Alright, so back at base, fog is lifting, and let's go show you what our little Mesopithecus can do. Shoulder pets in Ark are actually wonderfully useful, and the Messi is no different. So the very first thing is probably the least of her capabilities, and that is that she can passively gather berries while she's on wander. So make sure that wandering is enabled, and you could just leave her here, and she will constantly wander around. And anytime she comes within contact of a bush node, she will pick it. And as you can see, she gathers berries in the process. So we've just taken all of them out. We'll let her gather a couple more bushes just to show you about her gather rate. And I do believe that her melee stat affects the amount of berries that she can gather. But again, see, there you go. That's about the rate. I mean, if you left her for a couple days, she'd probably have quite a bit if she had the weight capacity for it. But understand, though, that anything in most shoulder pets inventory is half weight when they're on your shoulder. So they can actually be kind of a useful storage device in that regard. Berry picking aside, because we have trikes and stegos and brontos and all manner of things for picking berries, what the Muggsey really does is assist in combat. And to show you how, I'm going to go pick a fight with this Stillo. Alright, so, oh, ow, help me. They throw poop. That's why I call them the Muggsey, because poop. She literally pulls it out of her butt too. That is hilarious, and quite useful because, as you can see, its effect is not only a slight bit of damage, but it slows the opponent. These guys are great in PvP, and I think she will actually. It's a low-level Dillo. It's not damage to shake your nose at. I think. Yep, that was it. That one more, even though it didn't look like it collided, it actually killed the Dillo. Goodbye, Dillo. So that is the real utility of the Mesopithecus, is that they throw their boo-boops at your opponents in combat and slow the opponent and do a slight bit of damage to them as well. I think you can imagine how awesome that would be in PvP if you just had a room full of Mesopithecus and somebody busted into your base and it was just, well, you'd need a shower afterwards, let's just say that. Alright, guys. So, I'd say it's been a pretty good episode. We have learned how to level ourselves and our tames, specifically our flyers, up very effectively. And we've tamed ourselves a new companion that is actually rather useful along with being cute. So, oh, there I go, running into my wood spike walls again. Anyway, I am parched and in need of a drink, and in next episode, I think we're up for some base upgrades. I think it's time to get our crops going and to get water up to the base. And crops mean we'll also be needing to tame a Phiomia, the fabled poop cow. Because how can you have crops without fertilizer? Anyway, that's next. We'll see you then. Later, guys.